So, participatory budgeting. So the point of today's assembly, get to know your neighbors, learn about the city budget process. You have a handout in front of you called City Budget 101. It's a little long, I'm not going to go through it, but that is the breakdown of how the city budget works, how the different capital budget versus expense budget works. It's a good piece to hold on to. Like I said, then we're going to break out into groups and identify projects that you want to see. After today's meeting, and we're going to have a few other of these assemblies, at least one in Richmond Hill, another one in Ozone Park, and at least another, one more someplace. What happens is we pile up all the projects that are thought of at these neighborhood assemblies, and then people that volunteer to be budget delegates, and I have a sign up that we're going to pass out later if you want to be a budget delegate. They're the ones that will actually sift through these projects, fight with the agencies, Parks Department, this one's too expensive, we got to put it off, this one, Parks says is not doable, this one's not capital money, and then they will pile up all the eligible ones, and they will come up with the ballot. They will argue with the agencies about pricing, how it's going to work, where exactly in the district it's going to work. That's a very important thing. When you come up with a project, you have to have a specific location for it. It has to be written in the budget. So that's what a budget delegate will do. It's all people that volunteer to do so, and they're the ones that will actually work on making the, going through the projects and choosing which ones go on the ballot. Okay. So now we're going to go in this quick video, and I promise it is less than 4 minutes.
Come on and vote and decide how your tax dollars get spent.
Hey, hit the switches.
Participatory budgeting gives people real power over real money to make the decisions that affect their lives. It's a democratic process in which ordinary community members directly decide how to spend part of a public budget.
Oh, this is different because you're actually voting for where the money is going to be spent instead of allowing them to decide where to spend the money. Who knows better about their community than the people that live in their community?
So how does it work? First, people brainstorm ideas. They come together in neighborhood assemblies and start to think of what kinds of projects would they like to see in their neighborhood. Volunteers take people's initial ideas and turn them into real projects.
We started with maybe about 40 projects, and so we had a series of budget delegate meetings, and we narrowed down the list into about 4 or 5 projects.
What are the real needs of the community? If you only have a certain amount of money, what is it that you can do that's going to benefit as many people as possible?
We're asking for a projector and 30 Mac laptops.
Displays at bus shelters throughout the district, and it will tell people when the next bus is due to arrive.
I'm dreaming of new benches, modern benches. Seniors have nowhere to go.
People get a taste of making the tough decisions and coming up with things that can be done to improve their community. And they bring them back to the public for a vote.
It's a way of validating every voice in our community and saying, whatever your position is, you live in our community, you have a right to decide, and that me as a representative and government should respond and should listen to that voice.
The projects with the most votes get funded.
We have the playground improvements at Millbrook Housing.
They are then implemented over the next few years, and the following year, the process starts again. People brainstorm new ideas, turn them into new projects, vote on them, and fund more improvements for their community. PB becomes part of the budget process. It becomes a new way of governing.
I think this is like the greatest wave of democracy coming into the United States. It started in Porto Alegre, Brazil in 1989.
From there, it spread all over Latin America and to over 1,500 cities around the world. In Toronto, public housing tenants have decided to spend millions of dollars each year on improvements to their buildings. In Chicago and New York, city council members have set aside discretionary funds for the community to decide. In Vallejo, California, PB has been used citywide for funds from a new sales tax.
This was a great opportunity for you to be a part of government and better the city you live in. Who wouldn't want to take advantage of that?
We're creating a more educated platform of voters overall. So I think this can only be good for the big project of democracy.
Okay, so this is a list of council members that did it last year. This year, there's 25 new council members. I would say the vast majority of them are doing it. So I think more than half the city council is now going to be doing participatory budgeting. Like we said, last year we did it in Rockaway. So last year, over 14,000 people voted. The first year, Rockaway had the most votes out of everyone. I think almost 2,000 people voted, maybe like 1,800 people voted. They were the most in the city. That's how much they liked the process. 1,700 project ideas came up with, you see the stats, 13,000 voters, and 45 projects won. So over $10 million was funded through participatory budgeting last year. In Councilman Ulrich's district, last year we did about $1.7 million, just last year. So this is how participatory budgeting works. Starts off with the neighborhood assemblies, which we are doing today. You're going to identify ideas. Then, like I said, the people that volunteer to be budget delegates, they're going to be the ones that develop a proposal, really develop a project. Sometimes projects can be combined, all these ideas are gone through. There's a lot that's done at the delegate meetings. That's the most important part. Then, sometimes, and Rockaway chooses not to do this, they have project expos, almost like a fair of sorts, where residents can come in and there'll be stations where the budget delegates will present their project ideas. It's almost like a politician running for office. It's them trying to get votes for their project. So that's what a project expo is. Like I said, we're kind of behind the curve here on time. We're going to try to do that this year, depending on how quickly the delegate meetings move through. Then the community votes. Like the budget delegates, the district committee will come up with where people will vote. Usually it's libraries, things that are open all day, senior centers. Anyone in the district can vote. We'll have we'll have volunteers with ballots and a ballot box. They'll check your ID quick to make sure you live in the district, and you vote. And then that's it. The most important thing here, like I said, we're behind the curve here on time. You have to vote in April because Eric has to pass the budget by the end of May. So that is basically we're going to have to get to the vote by April, and we're going to have to squeeze in all the steps. And that's it. All right, so what type of money is eligible? What are discretionary funds? Every council member and the entire city budget is split into two funds: expense funds and capital funds. Expense funds, which we are not dealing with in this process, are for people and service programs. Salaries. We fund an extra day of garbage pickup on Jamaica Avenue. That has to be funded through expense budget because they're paying sanitation. Capital funds, which we are dealing with. Bricks and mortar projects, infrastructure projects, physical items, technology in schools, computers, anything that is a physical project, something physical, or some sort of construction project, something bricks and mortar related. To mill and pave the street, or just go potholes. New basketball court, parks renovations, anything like that is eligible. Windows in the school, any type of construction in the school, whether it be gym upgrades, technology upgrades, air conditioning fixes, anything like that is eligible. Things that are not eligible, an after-school program, that wouldn't be eligible. A basketball league, little league, something like that, not eligible. Renting a space, because that requires something monthly. It's going to go past the budget, past the 1 year, not eligible. All right, so not only must it be capital money, capital dollars have some requirements. It has to be over $35,000. So you can't do little things like the school needs one new window. Can't do it. You have to replace. You have to do a real project that's over $35,000 and meets this criteria. Now that said, we're only dealing with $1 million here, so you can't really go over $1 million. Build it. You can't. Like Eric said, the park that he funded, it was way over $1 million. So you're going to have to think of maybe just doing the playground in a park. A lot of in Rockaway, a lot of things they do is ADA compliance in parks. That's one of their biggest vote getters. It's always on the ballot. Parks Department has new swings and different type of playground equipment that they install that's ADA compliant, and that is, it's not a complete park upgrade, but they can do upgrades at the playground. Over 35,000, but less than $1 million. You can't just replace a fallen tree. However, you can fund a stump program where the city will, the Parks Department will get a contract and go through the 311 complaints and remove, if you do $300,000 worth of stump removal, whatever the contract is. Installing a stop sign. I'll do it at the end. Go ahead.
$1 million, is that per project or total, of all projects?
Of all the projects. Now, that said, on the ballot, there's going to be way more than $1 million of projects, but only $1 million will be funded. So when you vote, you don't vote for one project, you vote for your top 5. And we'll go and we'll take the top, we'll take the top projects up until we hit $1 million. And like Eric said, sometimes, we don't really find out, sometimes Eric's going to get more money based on, budget negotiations. And like I said, last year in Rockaway we did 1.7, he had more money, so he just kept going down the list until he got to his limit. Alright, so now we're going to go through some items that have been funded in the past, and then we will start. So this is Councilman Viverito, or Speaker Mark Viverito now. High school upgrades, a museum that they gave capital funds to, so that is definitely some sort of construction project. Rockaway did a handicap bathroom upgrade at the American Legion. That was one of their projects. Uptown Dance Academy, like I said, it's not detailed, but it's some sort of construction project. And healthcare center upgrades. Councilman Weprin, he's a Queens member. Public library upgrades. Playground expansion, like I said, $500,000 playground expansion. Queens College facility upgrades. Commonwealth Boulevard net barrier. That is too long to explain, but that's a huge net that they erected because they live near a golf course, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so this is things that the Councilman Ulrich has funded by himself. This was before we did participatory budgeting. PS 232, technology upgrades. Like I said, he really funds most of the schools in the district. A new library at Goddard High School, that was something that they asked for, $500,000. A bulkhead reconstruction in Hamilton Beach, $200,000. The addition of air conditioning at the Ozone Park Library, that was a big capital project for $350,000. Oh, Broad Channel Library outdoor space. That was actually a participatory budget project last year. They wanted a space outside the library in Broad Channel where they can sit at benches, plants and everything outside where they can go out, sit outside and read. And that came with new signs and new signage for the library and everything. That's why it's so expensive. And Eric told you about the park renovation at Plane Tree Park. Councilman Levin, housing projects, improvements, Park Field House, playground upgrades, Brooklyn Public Library upgrades, MTA station upgrades. So you get the idea. Prospects, new fields, school technology upgrades, a street reconstruction project, and a hospital project. Alright, these are projects that were been funded through the participatory budget project. A new van for Meals on Wheels program for seniors in the district. An ultrasound system for Metropolitan Hospital. Technology upgrades at various schools. Community composting center in Brooklyn near the Gowanus Canal. Repairs and safety improvements to a dangerous pedestrian crossing in District 39, which I believe is Brooklyn. The Broad Channel Library outdoor space, which we did. And ADA compliant parks equipment, which I said is a big one in Rockaway. This is a process completely run by the residents, so it's imperative that people volunteer and get involved, be a budget delegate, and any information is on their website. So let me just run you through the projects that they came up with in Ozone Park. There's a soccer field on 115th Avenue and North Conduit, Summer Park it's called. They want to renovate the soccer field, or build the soccer field. A road project on Pitkin Avenue between 84th and Cross Bay Boulevard. New street lighting, LED lighting, Liberty Avenue from 78th Avenue to Cross Bay Boulevard and 103rd Avenue from Rockaway Boulevard. Ozone Park Library upgrades. New street lighting. They wanted to put brighter LED lighting around subway stops along the A train. 80th and 88th subway stations. Also on along Liberty Avenue. Anywhere where the train stop was, the most heavily used train stops. They wanted to put ADA compliance, an elevator at A train at Rockaway Boulevard and a J train at Woodhaven Boulevard. So these are all types of projects that ozone parking, these are projects are going to be in this process with you guys. And the last thing they came up with is renovation of the 106th and 102nd Street Precinct House. All right, so now we're going to break into groups.
Before we do that, can we take questions from everyone?
Absolutely, I'm going to take